It has been scheduled. New bonus relief payments are available for every person right now. Now, these checks have been approved to help assist the low income and people cope with the rising cost of gas and housing prices. And rebate checks will soon be on their way to about 25 million people in Minnesota. The governor has officially allocated nearly $1 billion to be returned to taxpayers in the form of stimulus checks, record-breaking budget surplus this bill in this season. Even the Department of Revenue Commissioner has told reporters, and my major priority for the governor is to get these rebate checks out to the people of Minnesota. And also, the amount that will go back into your bank account just depends on your gross income in 2021. If you made $75,000 or less as an individual, you can expect a $260 rebate check. Couples making $150,000 or less can expect $520 from the rebate. And families can expect to receive more of a rebate depending on the number of dependents. An additional $260 for each dependent, up to a maximum of 3 dependents, and the maximum credit is $1,300 for a family of 5. To qualify for the checks, you must have been a Minnesota resident for part of all or 2021 and not be claimed as dependent too. The Department of Revenue expects to begin sending out the checks or electronic deposits in your bank accounts this fall. Even the state senator says these checks come at a time when families need it the most, and she stated, "I think and hope that they'll come in time for those who have school expenses for their family or for even themselves." The Department of Revenue says the rebate checks will not be taxed by the state, but they are unsure if the checks will be taxed federally. The state of Illinois has announced a third round of $4,000 rebates for the purchase of an EV vehicle. And the Illinois EV program offers $4,000 for the price of a new electric vehicle and $1,500 for the cost of an electric motorbike. So now everybody, the third round of rebates opens up in November 1st and runs until January 31st of next year. Now, low-income residents are prioritized by the program, and although the rebate is subject to funding availability, in addition to Illinois rebate, buyers can also benefit from the federal government in tax credits. But even Joe Manchin says he's thinking seriously about leaving the Democratic Party and declaring himself as an independent before the election. This is when he will decide whether to run for a 4th Senate term or to be a third-party bid for a president. Manchin, who earlier this year described himself as an independent Democrat, said he might not be a Washington Democrat, and the senator's interest is becoming an independent. It comes after months that Sinema announced her decision to leave the Democratic Party. Manchin also said this Thursday that he's not ready to make an announcement about this future for the Democratic Party, though, and he will decide at the end of the year whether to run for a 4th term or to start running for president. Folks, tell me your thoughts on Joe Manchin. Inflation has turned a corner, and top economists say that cooling home prices and rents may force the Federal Reserve to either pause or even reverse the rate increases.
On average, and remember the day that Joe Biden took office, it was $2.38 a gallon. It's over $4 a gallon in all 50 states. It's over $5 a gallon in New York, over $6 a gallon in California. 92% of Americans will tell you that they are very concerned about the high cost of gasoline. And the president was asked about it. He talked about it in Japan, and he called it an incredible transition. I want to make sure I had it. He called it.
First payment, a maximum of $841, which was issued on September 1st. The second payment, also for up to $841, will be sent out at the end of the month. However, the $1,600 maximum total for September is only for single recipients. An eligible individual with an eligible spouse receives up to $1,200 per payment, while a stipend of $420 per payment goes to those living with or providing for SSI beneficiaries. The program is overseen by the SSA and provides monthly payments to adults and children with a disability or blindness who have income and resources below specific financial limits. SSI payments are also made for people 65 and up without disabilities who meet certain financial qualifications. You might be eligible to receive SSI monthly payments even if you already received SSI or SSDI or retirement benefits. About 7.6 million people receive SSI benefits, in fact, and not everyone gets the same amount. You might get more if you live in a state that adds the money to the federal SSI payment, or get less if you have other income. Because of the way the system works, 2 SSI payments are sent in September, April, and December. But that doesn't mean you're getting extra money. It's to make up to 3 months that have no payments sent out in January, May, and October. There is a new deposit date for inflation checks. Here's the listen up. Listen up, everybody. It's about to get really important. Millions of eligible households who qualify for the SNAP will continue to get an important financial boost amidst an inflation crisis that has dealt the United States a hard blow. The amount each family could receive mainly depends on their income as well as certain expenses. Several states have officially announced they will offer additional SNAP benefits to eligible families. The assistance is intended to help households struggling to make ends meet as a result of joblessness or decreased hours following the crisis. Last year, Congress and the USDA decided to temporarily modify SNAP eligibility. Under the new rules, each household must meet certain requirements and also asset requirements in order to qualify. The household income should be at or below 130% of the federal poverty level, which has been at $1,800 a month in 2022. For example, this means that the federal poverty line for a 3-person family is $2,400 a month. Meanwhile, a household without an elderly or disabled member must have assets of $2,500 or less. The Pennsylvania SNAP program has been benefiting families in the U.S. states since it came into effect. The good news is that the recipients are going to continue to get extra monthly checks throughout October 2022. And now, due to the crisis, SNAP recipients have been receiving extra monthly checks as well. On July 15th, the Biden administration extended the federal emergency declaration due to the crisis for an additional 90 days. Therefore, the SNAP payments will continue through the end of this month. The extra payment will bring households that are only eligible for a partial benefit up to the maximum benefit amount for their household size. Households that are eligible for the maximum benefit amount will receive an extra $95 a month. In the upcoming weeks, millions of Americans can anticipate receiving some financial assistance. Due to new tax rebates, Illinois taxpayers will soon get checks in the mail. Illinois is also passed early this year into providing one-time individual income tax refunds, as well as rebates on property taxes for people who meet certain specific requirements. Residents must have paid Illinois property tax, and also those who submitted a 2021 tax form will automatically be reimbursed. Illinois citizens can still submit the form online to receive the rebate. There is also an update on student loan forgiveness. Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez believes Americans should be more supportive of one another and that we can start by embracing President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan. Ocasio-Cortez mentioned other programs that use taxpayer dollars to benefit specific populations. The first-time homeowner benefits, Medicare for senior citizens, and roads that even public transit users help fund through taxes.
While collecting just over $4 trillion in revenue. With the return of legislative
in an attempt to ease Americans' demand and slow inflation, Powell clarified in the speech that additional rate hikes are on the way, further eroding optimism for a soft landing. Powell also stated, reducing inflation is likely to require a sustained period of below-trend growth. There will be likely some softening of labor market conditions. The Fed has targeted the labor market as a key battleground for fighting inflation, and Powell has cited the massive imbalance of worker supply and labor demand. Government data published last week indicated the U.S. was still touting roughly 2 jobs openings for every available worker, underscoring just how tight the labor market has become. A growth recession could even drive the unemployment rate